Everybody, and welcome to this week's Facebook Live, and welcome to it's Mental Health Day today, World Mental Health Day today. So the whole of October is being given over in Ireland anyway to mental health and raising awareness of mental health. So I said I would go back to one of my main reasons for writing my blog initially, which was to raise mental health awareness, was to raise awareness around disabilities and raise awareness around mental health. So remember too that at the moment, this month, there's lots of free events on. I know St. Patrick's are doing huge amounts of online events in particular for people. So if you want to check those out, do please go and check those out. And also remember, the more we talk about mental health, the more you understand, the more likely it is that we are to reduce the stigma around mental health, because everybody has mental health. So this week's blog was about atypical depression, which is a type of depression. It's a subset of clinical depression. It's actually quite common. It's more common in women than men, so we have to be aware of that. And it's important really, if we get to understand the symptoms in general around depression and anxiety, they tend to go hand in hand, and in this case particularly social anxiety. But I'm not going to go into all the lists. I mean, there's loads and loads of symptoms around depression. There's loads of symptoms for anxiety. I'm not going to go and list them all out. They're in the blog. I have listed them all out in the blog, so you can check that out at www.deborahbrownpsychologyservices.com. But I will highlight, the ones that are relevant to what I think are specific to atypical depression, that would be looked for specifically when diagnosing it. The specific ones, I suppose, is mood, and it's with atypical depression. I don't want to say an unusual one, but atypical depression reacts to positive things happening. It's that in that sense, it's unusual. Most people, when we have depression, we wouldn't have this type of reaction. It would be more like melancholy depression, which is another subset. So this one, it actually reacts to positive. So your mood gets a shift up when something happens, positive happens, and you need to be aware of that. So you could have depression and then something positive happens, and then things shift up, and then your mood drops down, because you get a very intense feelings around this with this type of depression. The other ones that we want to highlight is sleeping too much, and also weight gain and increasing appetite. So some people do get increased appetite when you have depression, but in this one you do have it, and you do tend to get weight gain as well. Intense sensitivity to rejection. So as I said, there's an intense sensitivity to feelings, emotions, and happy, positive things happening in your life, positive events happening. You'll get a bump, but there is that intense sensitivity to rejection, and intense reactions overall, which you tend not to get with other types of depression. You also then, of course, would have difficulties as a result then in social interactions, work interactions, personal relationships are going to get affected as well, because of this intensity of emotion, particularly around rejection. And then people as well, the last one I want to highlight here in this in terms of symptoms would be, people tend to report feeling weighed down, paralyzed, burdened, if you like. That's what they're reporting with this. Now, as I said, there are other symptoms as well, and we need to be aware of them. You won't get all of the symptoms. That's you're not expected to tick every box with depression, anxiety, or any other mental illness. If you're ticking a few of them, please, or even if your gut instinct is telling I feel I have something wrong, go to your GP. If you feel your loved one has something wrong, please get them to go to their GP or main doctor to look after, get this diagnosed. Don't start self-diagnosing. It's important that you get the correct diagnosis, so therefore you can get the correct treatment. The main cause of atypical depression, of course, is unknown. There are many factors that can feed in to somebody getting depression or anxiety. So again, I've listed those out in the blog, and I would suggest that you do, as well as the treatment and the diagnosis. I've listed those out in the blog, so do please check those out. And as I said, if you have somebody who you love, that you feel there is something wrong, then please never wait. Go and see the GP. Even pick up the phone and have a chat with them yourself and say, I think there's something wrong, and maybe arrange a house visit. Now, what I want to highlight this morning is, as well, and I've covered it in the blog, is when you're looking after somebody with depression, or when you're looking after somebody with a mental illness, it is really difficult. It's a really hard spot to be in. You as the carer, whether you're their partner or parent or a loved one, even another family member or a friend, they need support. You need support. A lot of the time, the emphasis is always on getting them support, and which it should be. But once they're getting support, you have to trust the doctors and the therapists to do their job. You're going to be supporting them at home, as you will, but you also need to go now and get some support, because it is not uncommon for the partner or the loved one, whoever it is, your family member, to get their support, get stabilized, get things, get their therapy in place. They've things, they're being taken care of, and everything is ticking along now on a more even keel. And then for you as the carer to find yourself becoming ill, whether that's a physical illness or you yourself developing depression or anxiety or something yourself. That is not uncommon. And you really do need, you're under high level of stress right now. And you need support. You need the support of a therapist yourself. You need the support of your GP. And you need other supports as well. So I really want to emphasize this. Getting your own therapy will really help you handle the situation from your point of view better, okay, and from your loved one's point of view as well. You're going to feel angry, you're going to feel guilty, you're going to feel a whole host of emotions here, and that's okay. The therapist, your psychologist, will be able to help you let that anger off, let the pressure off. You go into a safe environment, you can vent out your frustrations, you can vent out all your stresses, and that releases the pressure off the pressure cooker. If you keep shoving it down and keep handling it and going from one crisis to another, and sometimes that can be the situation, if you're not getting that support, then you're the one that's going to get sick too. The other thing that can happen, particularly with a couple, is that relationships get very strained. The marriage or the partnership gets very strained. Once you're both getting therapy yourselves from and your individual supports and treatments in place that is required for one or both of you, it's okay then to also seek couples therapy. And in fact, I would recommend it. I would highly recommend that you do that. You need somewhere, again, a neutral space. You need a neutral party where you can go in and talk through what's gone on, what has happened, and again, you can vent with a third party there to mediate what has gone on, and they will help support you as a couple. Because remember, you're two individuals, but the relationship is a third party, and you need that support. You really do need that support. It's important that you voice your concerns, and the therapists can help you do that. An awful lot of things that are not there is an awful lot of things that are not talked about around what happens when a loved one gets ill, whether it's an illness, disability, or with mental health. Finances is one thing we don't tend to talk about. We don't talk about the strain that can happen to the family or to the partners. the other partner becomes increasingly stressed and put under pressure with regards to the finances. There's a hit to the income, the household income. And that can bring in and of itself, particularly, if you have a mortgage, you're trying to have children, you're trying to support them, that has an awful lot of stress to it. So even for those reasons, you need, maybe somewhere like a therapist to go and talk to them. But you also, as a couple, you need to talk about it. And having somebody to talk to will help you get through that, will help you deal with the stress around that, even just that one issue of finances, and the pressure you can become under. But the other thing is, you really do need practical support. And I've put in links in the blog where you can get practical support, not just therapeutic support from somebody like me, but practical support. Now in Ireland, I've only been able to put them in for Ireland, and I'm sorry that I can't list every country around the world or main hotspots around the world. I just don't have that information. But if you had it and you know it, you're more than welcome to put a link in the description below this video, that it might help somebody else get those supports in your local country. In Ireland, MABS, and they do a WALIA. You might hear a WALIA, you might hear ads for a WALIA. It's MABS again. They are a great organisation. They will take the pressure of dealing with the creditors, particularly around a mortgage. WALIA is the service they offer for around homes, and they will talk to the companies, the banks, for you. You're dealing with enough. If you can get some sort of practical support like that in place, where they're dealing with the letters, they're dealing with the company or the mortgage company, that you can take that pressure off yourself, that is a huge reduction in your stress. You need that support. The Citizens Advice as well, they have free legal aid attached to them. They have that you can contact through Citizens Advice. Now they offer just an initial consultation free with a solicitor, that if you had a query and you think, do I need to get a solicitor or not, before you even go to something like free legal aid, Citizens Advice, you can make an appointment to see one of their solicitors, the solicitors who volunteer their time to give advice freely to people. They have a clinic, usually of an evening time, and you can make an appointment through the Citizens Advice and they will do that. And I've also linked out to the Department of Social Protection as well, for people who would need support, income support. Or if you needed to apply for disability or that, you'd need to apply through those. But doing that, really, you need to get practical. Unfortunately, when we take a hit to our income, it can bring huge stress to a family, huge stress to the partner who isn't ill, takes on all that burden. And as I said, a therapist can help you talk through it, but you do need to reach out. Don't just think yourself alone. Please reach out and talk to somebody else, such as MABS, particularly around dealing with big companies like mortgage banks and that. The other things, as an individual, that you can do as a carer is to get proactive for yourself. So reducing your stress, I've hinted at that. Go talk to a therapist. You do need to talk it through. Couples therapy is practical. You need to do that. Talking about your finances with your therapist and with somebody like MABS is practical. That is some practical and a practical way to reduce your stress. But look for other ways you can do practical things that you can do to reduce your stress. Some of those would be to exercise. Exercise 15 minutes a day. Get out of the house. Take that time to clear your head. It'll help reduce your stress, but it'll also help boost your serotonin. And it's a great way of also, you need to keep yourself physically fit. Eat healthy. A lot of the times we won't want to do that, or we're eating on the go. We're just picking as we go. We're so pressurized, getting the kids in and out of school, dealing with all we have to deal with, and probably holding down some type of work as well, because we're the main breadwinner. We don't tend to eat properly then as well, but try and eat properly. Try some form of relaxation. I recommend meditation. I have plenty of podcasts on that you can use. You can also come and join my mum's group, which is for stress reduction and anxiety. You can come, I've leave a link in the description that you can come and join us for that. And I would recommend that you take time away from the person. You need that. You need space. You need your own space, and it's hard to get that. So if you can get an opportunity where they can go and stay with somebody for a night, even once a week, or you and can be looked after there, or you can take the space time out and just get space and do so safely, of course, at the moment. Try and stop feeling guilty about doing that. Try and stop feeling guilty, and it is hard to do that when you have somebody with a mental illness or a disability, to, you know, stop feeling guilty about needing time for yourself, to need time to look after yourself. But I mean, remember, you know, you can't give from an empty cup, and that's physics. You know, if you're empty and you've given and given and you're now burnt out, you're the one that's going to be sick. So you're not being selfish by looking after yourself. You're being very practical looking after yourself. Remember, everyone has mental health, guys. Everybody needs to look after their mental health. So on today, even just today and for today, you know, what can you do for yourself that would be positive for your mental health? And within safety guidelines, of course. But, you know, what can I do today? If that's reaching out and talking to one other human being, if that's offering somebody a smile, if that's offering somebody to even have a virtual cup of coffee with, because, you know, we can't really meet in public, but if we can have them pick up the phone and talk to somebody on the phone, please do that. Great organisations out there that you can have a chat with, Samaritans. You know, there's if you're an elderly person, then you've Alone as well. It's a great organisation. You've got the Grow Group as well. They offer meetups. So, you know, there is support out there for you. There is also a lot of hours on Twitter and the likes of that. There are groups on Facebook. One of my own is a free group, Less Stress, More Success for Mums. Come and join us. Come and join the chat. It's free. Talk to us. Pick my brain in my own group. You can come, you can pick my brain. You can take up any of the modules that I have. They're all free. A lot of there's meditations. You know, dealing with negative thinking is up there. Dealing with negative people is up there. We're into module 9 at the moment, so there's a 9 courses up there. So all free. You can do them in your own time. There's no time pressure. But do something, even one thing today that would uplift your mental health, your own mental health in a positive way. So I will leave it there, and as I said, this month's videos and blogs will all be around mental health. Monday's blog will be on anxiety and how you can help that. And I will talk to you all again, of course, next Saturday morning. And good morning, Deirdre, as always, who is on every single week with me, and I will see you on Tuesday night on Wexford Air. So I'll talk to you all again then. Thank you very much.